Well, hi there. Welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Erin.
I'm Candice.
And I'm Rikki.
And I love, it's winter. I'm in my no drama llama winter sweater. Candice, you're in your wicked.
I'm in my wicked Target find that is so comfy, but it's still also holidays because it's green.
And Rikki's like the best of both of our colors here with the pink.
I've always got to have some pink ones. So,
which, if you're on the podcast, do you really want to know what we're wearing? Yes or no? But that is what we're doing today.
Come over to YouTube. Come look at us.
Yeah, come hang with us.
Smiling faces.
Yeah. So part 2 of our Q&A. This is how we close out the year and have. It's weird to be able to say we've been doing this long enough.
I know.
That this is our annual thing that we do.
Say annual and all of these things. So
I know. We can. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So kicking off the Q&A this time is going to be Sarah in Canada. Oh, Canada.
I can't join with you. I know it, but I cannot.
I'm a middle child. I'm a peacekeeper. I'll do that. Our friends up north. Okay. You often say the scale isn't the only form of measurement, and that helps me so much. What other form of measurement do you lean on to help give you the fuller picture of your health?
For me, the first thing I think of is the way my clothes fit. And not necessarily by a size, because you can be one size in one brand and a different size in another brand. But for me, it's like, okay, these pants, I've been wearing them consistently and now they're sliding down, or other direction, I've been wearing this shirt a lot and now it feels a little uncomfortable. It feels a little tighter. So for me, that's an indication that something is changing.
Yeah. For me, it's always stamina. Because if I am I can always tell if I am my health is improving, if workouts are easier, if going up and down the stairs, I'm not winded, or if I'm walking around the neighborhood and I'm doing the normal laps that I do and I don't feel it as much. That's always, and I have my Apple Watch that'll tell me like, hey, I love when you get those notifications, not the ones that are like, you got worse, but the ones that are like, oh, your heart rate's down and you're breathing better. So stamina for me is always an indicator, something that I measure.
This is so good. What a great question.
Yeah.
Because my brain instantly went to like having measurements but there's stamina wasn't even on my radar, but that's a really great measurement. Mm-hmm. For me, a measurement is happiness. Like happiness is something that can be so conditional, but for so many years, I beat myself up over my weight. I beat myself over not following the plan or half doing the plan or this and that. And so I know when I'm feeling happy about where I am, it's because I'm doing the things that lead me to happiness. I'm doing more of the things that lead me to happiness and fewer of the things that don't.
Yeah.
And that happiness quotient it's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes to get there, it means you have to stop doing things that you enjoy doing. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. It's enjoyable to eat a whole pizza.
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable to stop after 2 pieces, but I think we talked about this several episodes. Like I brought it up and you're like, hey, we need to talk about this more, but it's the difference between pleasure and happiness. Mm-hmm. That moment is pleasurable, but I'm not happy afterwards. I'm beating myself up. Well, then that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's looking at what's the longer term goal. So a measurement actually for me is happiness. Am I going to be happy eating this whole box of donuts? No, I'm not. So I'm not going to do that.
And it's interesting. That's another measurement for me too, is how triggered am I by food?
Ooh.
Because like when I can always tell when I am feeding my body better or I'm in a better health state when I'm less triggered by the sugar and by the things that because I'm feeding myself well. usually when I'm kind of in a state that I'm not feeling proud, I'm usually very, very triggered by outside. But because we know that they put stuff in the food to be triggering.
Yeah.
Give yourself, like you said, Erin, that kind of space between I'm not going to overindulge in this, or I'm going to give myself a break from it, and it gets out of your system and you're able to be rational about food again. That's a metric, when it's like, I can walk by this right now, and it's okay for me to say no. I'm not triggered anymore right now.
That's a really good example.
Have you all had that? Like when you have been feeding yourself well, you're less triggered by the sugar and the other things.
Absolutely. I'm more likely, even if it is being out, I might be in a planned outing with a friend and I'm choosing, one thing over another, one thing that's a little bit greener and has, a salad versus a slice of pizza. It's easier to make that, or it's like instead of 2 slices of pizza, I have 1 and a side salad. Like I'm making different choices, and then that ties in with the happiness. I feel better about myself. I'm not beating myself up about that choice because I'm like, I did want this thing, but I'm proud of myself for not overindulging.
Can I add on to what you just said, Rikki, too, where you said 1 slice of pizza and the salad? I had this internal, like visceral moment that popped up and went, I will not be happy with 1 piece of pizza. And so I think actually, like talking about that happiness kind of part, 1 piece feels like deprivation, where to you that feels like full freedom. For me, that felt like deprivation. Like I need to eat 2 pieces. I'm going to feel happy having the 2 pieces. I'll feel content. Maybe that's the word. I feel content having the 2 pieces of pizza and the salad as opposed to the 1. So that even just goes into like that journey of what works for one person and another, finding what your contentment and happiness level is.
And seeing what defines the like you said, you could look and say, what's the slice of the pizza? What kind of salad is it? Like, and as your stomach shrinks or does, you may find that you thought that you needed to, but your body may tell you something different. So it's like, this is my happiness, but your body's like, hold on, I'm good.
And that's an especially happy moment. I know I've had that recently where I've thought I wanted 2 slices of pizza and I started to eat the second, and to be able to stop myself before I get to that moment of being sick is such a good feeling. And it's learning. Like in that moment, I'm learning. So the next time I'm faced with that choice, I can say, I remember how that felt. Like, I don't want to waste the money now and get 2 slices when I know I can be satisfied with 1.
Have you had that moment too, where like you're eating something and you've always been able to eat the full thing and you're like, I'm always able to eat this full thing. What's wrong with me? And you even though your body is very clearly sending you stop signals, but you're like, I used to be able to bench press 350. I should be able to do that.
That's what I was about to say. That's exactly me. Like, I'm like, oh no, I eat 2 pieces of pizza. Like, but you're struggling with it. And it's just like, no, because this is what I do. And then you pay for it. And you're like, what did you win? You could have just had the 1.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you're depriving yourself. But Erin, like you said, I defined my happiness by it having to be 2. And embracing that it really isn't about, it's just the fact that I can have a piece of pizza. Like, it's just, it's not really about how much. It's just the fact that I can eat pizza, and then when I'm full, I'm full.
Do you guys find now a new level of excitement with leftovers? Because, in the beginning, initial days of the WW plan, like it was like, okay, I get the box. And then when I first eat my meal, I put half of it. But I feel like before I was used to that, it still felt like, oh, maybe I'll eat this when I get home because I'm not eating it now, but I'm not satisfied. But now when I'm able to make those decisions where I eat half of my meal because I truly am full, it's exciting to have leftovers the next day because it's like, okay, I have 1 more serving of this and it was something I enjoyed. I didn't feel stuffed that day, and I can enjoy it the next day and have that carryover contentment.
I think I still have PTSD from growing up in a family where my leftovers got eaten by my father or brother. It doesn't matter if you put your name on it, it's going to be gone. So I have, as an adult, my therapist is like, Candice, they're not there anymore. You can bring the food home.
I swear, if David eats your leftover,
it's funny. He
I'll
knows
look
my
up
triggers.
to him and say my thoughts.
He knows my triggers, so he's like, your food's over here.
It's here.
I have not touched it. I'm like, I'm fine. You can have some. It's fine. It's fine.
Don't
wait
take
till
it.
Isaiah gets older. You're gonna have to
Now
fight.
Isaiah's like, hold on, mommy. See, it's a whole nother thing.
Right.
But Rikki, to your point, I love leftovers. It's just I have to get over the fear that it's not going to be there in the morning.
No.
I get
You gotta label it
excited.
as like livers and Brussels sprouts or something.
Yes. Man, I get excited at like, early on, Rikki, I think you really tapped into that. Like it was almost this feeling of punishment of, oh, this is what I have to do because I'm on Weight Watchers. And now it's like, oh, I can't wait. I got 2 meals out of this.
Right.
It may have cost $19.99, but it's really it's $9.98 because I've got 2,
Doesn't that show you the mindset shift and how the power of the mind?
Yes.
Like if you go into it like, look, I'm about to make this stretch and you're excited versus, I'd like another box because I'm not allowed to eat all of it.
Yeah.
I have to stay within my points. It's like that's deprivation.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's another like health marker. I think that's another health marker. Do I view living healthy as punishment or as joy? That's another health
You
marker.
all need to take notes. This is amazing stuff here. Okay. I don't know if you know, we are dropping gems. Okay. I need to take my own notes. I need this episode because I didn't even know we had all these metrics.
Right.
There you go.
I've just learned that I've really learned how many other metrics there can be. That's a great question, Canada.
So
Sarah.
when you see this as another episode in the future, just act like we didn't already talk about it for 11 minutes because we're going to do a whole other episode on it and dive in deeper.
Seriously, we actually do need to do a whole other episode, a whole other conversation. This is how the parking lot conversations originally started,
Hey,
FYI.
ladies, it's time for you to get out of here.
Right.
I'm ready to do our new members meeting. Hold on 1 second.
We haven't thought it's like that. It's the meme, the gif of the guy with like all the strings and he's like, got the crazy face. He's like, that's us right now.
Double rainbow. What is that?
That's right. Rikki's taking our notes. Our Marianne, our babysitter Marianne's taking notes. I can see.
There they go again.
All right.
Adding it to our list, ladies.
Our next question comes to us from Jessica in Indiana. You planned a meal in the app. You eat the meal but cannot finish, leaving a good amount on the plate. Do you recalculate your points or do you leave it as is? Thoughts?
I recalculate my point. I'm going to eat those points. So if I didn't eat all that, give me my points back.
So I think that is the wise thing to do. But if you girl math, if you end up girl mathing it like me, you could end up like sabotaging yourself unintentionally. And that's something I know I have done where I'm like, okay, well, I didn't eat all of it, so I have 5 extra points, so I can have this. But am I actually being honest about, was it 5 points? Was it 10 points? So that's where I think, get into trouble. But I think ideally, yes, you should recalculate it so you know a better ballpark of like how many points you have left if you do want to use those points for something else instead of just mentally saying, I think I have this, because then it can be like, oh yeah, I'm going to use this 5 for this, and then what if you forgot about that and you use it for something else? Or
I agree with that because I can do that same mental hurdle. I also think recalculating the points and also knowing I can recalculate the points and I don't have to eat those points if I'm full, because that's the goal, is to be full for the day. It gives you a more accurate portrayal at the end of the week of, did you stay in the zone? They have that thing that you can look at. It's like, were you in the zone for your points? So yeah, you could go choose to like, oh, okay, well, you know what? I wasn't going to have dessert, but 2 hours later, I'm just a little touch nauseous, maybe noshy, not nauseous, noshy. I'm going to eat a little something. Now I've got some extra points that I can kind of play with to go put towards that. So I think it's, as accurate as you can get, ballpark accurate.
If your numbers like me, they know I'm anal. Like I'm very much like, okay, hold on. I actually sat down and put in every single ingredient, and this thing is 37 points. So if I eat a third of it, then this gives me this and that, because that makes me happy. But if you already did start off, I understand what Rikki's saying. If you started off ballparking it, and then it's kind of like, but just give me my points. Like, let me do what I want with my points. And if I didn't need them, I want them back. Do whatever you need.
I love it. Let's see. Jessica Ashley is in Massachusetts. Rikki, it's another teacher. She says, "Hi, ladies. My name is Ashley, and I'm a teacher in Massachusetts. I have to say that I have never fully committed to WW until I started listening to your podcast." Wait. It's so refreshing to hear people going through the same old stupid chaos that doesn't even really need to be chaos.
Like, good way
are our
to clean
people.
up.
Welcome.
Unintentional chaos.
Yes.
Over here.
That is it. It doesn't ever need to be chaos, and yet we make it chaos. She says, "I really loved the specials you all did with the WW coaches, and I would love to have more people on the show who are either coaches or lifetime members. It would be amazing to hear their stories and what made them successful." Ashley, hint, if you couldn't tell, they don't make stupid things chaos. That's the answer.
Or they no longer do.
They no longer do. Yes. Just random side note. I would love to support the show, but is there a way to do a one-time donation as opposed to a monthly? Thank you for everything you do and continue to do to help this community. And I'm also going to add that Sky in Little Rock, Arkansas, she sent us a text and asked that same question as well. Is there a way to do a one-time donation as opposed to the monthly donation? So I'm going to add just one little thing, and I'm going to turn it over to Candice because Candice is our finance person. This is her gifting. We use a platform called Buzzsprout for our podcast. And side note, if you've ever wanted to start a podcast, let us know and you want to use the same platform. We actually have a little link where we can earn $20 if someone else new joins up. So that kind of helps support the show. That'd be awesome if you wanted to do that. And we're happy to share anything, that we know to help you get going if you want to. But they offer within the platform itself, the ability to do donations. And so they only have this very specific way of doing the monthly donations, but it's, I think it's like $3, $5, $10. It's small. It's very small amounts for that monthly donation. They don't have a one-time donation. However, now I pivot to Candice.
We have a solution for you. So in our show notes, you'll see a link that says one-time donation, and you can use that link anytime you want to make a donation to the show or to support the show in a way that you see fit. It takes all different types. It can take credit cards, Cash App, Venmo, all the different ways, because we know that everybody has different ways of wanting to support. So we appreciate you. Make sure you look in the show notes. Erin's going to help us label it, where one shows the link to our Buzzsprout, where you can do it on a monthly basis, or the one-time donation that you can do whenever it hits your heart to want to buy us a cup of coffee or do whatever you'd like. So Thank you.
And then just to make it like clear designation for you, because we are not a 501c3, it is not it's not technically a donation. Right. So we just have to say very specifically for that language because we have to.
It is support.
It's a support from you. So
yes, if you'd like to support us,
yes,
there will be a support link.
Yes, and it'll be marked one time or monthly. Yeah. So if you want, but either way, thank you for considering that. Yeah. My gosh. That's so incredible.
Because you just don't know, and we won't get into it because they know that this is to keep this going for the years, it costs money, and then economy is what it is, and things go up in prices, and we're like, I said, what? So you all who help us kind of keep this going, we thank you so very much. It really does make a difference.
Yes, grateful. Kate in Connecticut. Ladies, I wrote in a question on Instagram during the holidays last year asking about a plateau. Erin said, "Don't be a turtle." Now, I don't know if I actually said that. I need to go back and re-listen to that because I am a turtle when it comes to walking, running, and losing weight. So I need to go back and re-listen. She said, "I'm trying, Erin. I'm really trying. I lost 35 pounds in 2023, sticking very strictly to the WW program. hold on, pause, 35 pounds in 2023. That is amazing.
Wonderful.
Congratulations. 2024 brought new challenges during which I've tried to stay committed, but at various points throughout, it's been really tough. As we start to round the corner to 2025, and we've rounded the corner, I find myself losing and gaining the same 8 pounds. I've found this to be very difficult mentally, and now I see the self-sabotage behaviors creeping in. I've been trying to reframe my negative self-talk, but the thought that I don't deserve my prior success because I haven't budged the scale is always there and difficult to work past. I'm wondering if you've all struggled with self-sabotage, and if so, how have you worked through it to be proud of the work you already did, even if you haven't been able to make the scale move in months? Thanks for this podcast. I find it so invaluable. Kate. So the question, have you all struggled with self-sabotage? Yes, Kate. Yes, girl.
Yes.
See,
Now the real question is, how have you been able to be proud of the work that you already did and still bust through the self-sabotage tendencies? Who wants to go?
I mean, I think it's a daily struggle, honestly. Like, I don't know if the reason why you see me hesitating is because I mean, it's a struggle for me too, right? I think that's why I'm in therapy, and I'm a plug for therapists, seriously, because this journey, I think you found a lot of it's mental, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the things that have kept us stuck, it's all up here, and how we view ourselves and view our choices and view. So I think that some of the suggestions and things that we gave, looking at those other metrics in terms of defining what success really looks like, redefining, journaling for me, again, putting my thoughts down on paper, does help me, but I still struggle with it, if I'm being honest. I don't have a concrete, this is how I have gotten over it, because I just have to accept that it's what I'm feeling in the moment and challenge myself to see the truth of what's true and what's not, what's made up. Because I think that we're very smart. Sometimes you're too smart for your own good. And I'm trying to think about what makes me feel motivated to move forward in a positive way. So if the thoughts that I'm hearing or I'm feeding to myself make me negative and depressed and downtrodden, I try to use that as a benchmark to say, how's that serving me? And if it's not, what can I do to say, I know that it's not something that I need to focus on. And sometimes you just can't trust your thoughts. That's what my therapist told me. She was like, not every thought that you have is something that's true and something that you need to, and that is hard because you think that you can trust your thoughts, but you just can't. And if it makes me feel bad, then I'm choosing not to trust that. And how can I do something different?
What's my thing that I've said for a while? Is this a life-giving thought?
Is it a life-giving thought? And like I said, so just know you're not alone. But I think that that's something that helps me at least to know if it's worth my time and attention.
Really good. Go ahead, Erin.
You go. Yep.
I mean, I think I have a very similar answer to Candice, because I wouldn't say I'm an expert in this. I'm an expert in self-sabotage, but not in the strategies to undo them. I think I'm still learning that. I am still thinking about the past. And I think that's a challenge for me, is comparison within my own journey. Because, I'm down 10 pounds this year, and I shouldn't say but. That's the thing. Like,
so how does that make you feel?
Right. It's a constant reminder of, like, I know that I historically had been down 50 pounds. So I have to forgive myself for that. I have to move on from it. But it's a constant reminder to forgive myself. And I wouldn't say I'm perfect at it, because sometimes I still think, man, if I hadn't gained that back, I'd be somewhere else. And it's frustrating. To be honest, it's very frustrating. But I'm learning to forgive myself. Part of that for me is also joining therapy and going back to that, because I hadn't done it in a while, and finding a therapist and all of that. So I am back in that journey, And I think that's going to help as well, for me to be able to move forward and to take some steps that an expert can help me to be kinder to myself. Because sometimes, I know what to say. I know that I should be kind to myself, but I think I need more practice from a professional to tell me like ways that I can be kinder, ways I can truly move forward.
The other thing that I would probably add into this is to contextualize the journey. We often will look back at these periods of time and hold them up on a pedestal of, wow, I lost 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 30 pounds. But if we contextualize that time space, that was different than where we are now. So for me, when I look back at, okay, I finally hit my 50 pounds, what I also didn't know is that my thyroid had swung over to the hyper side. And so I was being aided by the fact that my thyroid was actually in an unhealthy state that was causing me to lose weight faster. My thyroid is in a healthy state now, which means it's harder for me to lose weight. But guess what? I have all my mental faculties, and that's a really good thing compared to where it was before. And so there are even times, so even if there wasn't necessarily like an organic issue within your body, where you were 3 years ago, 5 years ago, even a year ago is not where you are now. You may have lost a loved one. You may have faced a challenging situation at work. And the thing is that lifestyle that you created is actually meant to support you right now as you go through those challenges. And so maybe it's less about holding ourselves to the scale and the number on the scale to the health patterns, though, that we created that are going to sustain us in a hard time. I really think that there are seasons for weight loss and there are seasons for maintaining the healthy habits that we learned in the weight loss. So I think maybe it just comes again, just back to that mindset shift. And Rikki, I get that. I get your frustration because I have felt that frustration for myself from the 50. But if I can look at it, for me, I've maintained a 25-pound weight loss, which is nothing to, shake a stick at. And for you this year of having lost 10 pounds, I will take that 10 pounds that you lost. If you don't want it, I'll take it, right? Like, I think all of those things, it's just, I think it keeps coming back to us for mindset.
Yeah, because I think you can get into the habit of trending negative. It's a habit, right?
Yeah.
And in order to break it, what my therapist has worked on, and I told you I minimize, she told me it is a forever homework assignment. Forever. She said it will never end. That affirmations and what I say to myself, starting off the day with speaking truth over myself and what's going on, is going to help me when I trend negative, because it's my nature to trend negative, to think about what I didn't do and why I didn't do it and how it's not working or whatever. Instead of saying, like you said, look at this, that's amazing. I've lost 10 pounds, and kept it off. This is fantastic. I'm going into the new year with a loss. I'm making better choices. I'm sleeping better. This morning I drank water. Like, this is amazing. It's something about those feelings. It grows, and that's what we're trying to cast votes for when we're talking about mental health. It's the positive and the joy, not because we're having blinders on to the choices that we make that may not have been the best, but it's kind of like you, Erin, in the rearview mirror. It's okay. Can we make that less of the focal and more of like, look at all these really amazing good things I'm doing. Okay, I had some cashews that had some sugar on them. Okay, well, anyway, I made dinner tonight and it was so good.
Well, anyway, I tracked those cashews
and they were
I had, and they were good.
And I can't wait to have some more tomorrow. Like, that is what you would do for a friend. And we always hear that, like, if I were coming to you guys and saying I'm in a down, you all would come over. I would disclaim it, right? And then you all would speak life, right? You wouldn't be going, yeah, because you were just it was horrible what you did. Like, why would you do that? Like, why? You would not do that, because I would never invite you over again. you would spend the time trying to find something uplifting to say.
Mhm.
Like, look
Right.
at you over here thinking. You're such a good thinker.
Mhm.
That
But
is,
sometimes we do tell you you're off your rocker.
you're off your rocker.
Right.
How did what is
What is this?
David
Yeah,
said
what's
to you
David
about
think? But you got to
David?
find one thing. Like, look at those socks. You know,
Right.
it's like when they say if a baby's not cute, you can find something on the baby. Like, look at that outfit. That's what you got to do for yourself. Look at you
Right.
drinking that water. You took one sip.
Right.
So
Right.
proud of you.
So I think maybe a great challenge even coming out of this is for every one of us that when we start to hit that negative spiral,
Mhm.
one, stop.
Yeah.
Literally visualize a stop sign and say, is this a life-giving thought?
Mhm.
Is this a rear view mirror thought or is this a windshield thought? And if this isn't going, imagine that your thoughts are what power your car.
Mhm.
Are your thoughts moving your car forward or are you parked?
And if it is a negative thought, I think the requirement should be you have to give one thought that is a positive to it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a
Love that.
requirement. I'm not saying don't think it.
Mhm.
You've said it. Now you are required to say one good thing.
Mhm.
Right.
That's
Right.
Just the
important.
rules.
And listen, by the way, that negative thought could be a true.
Right.
It could be a true thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
I overate today. I ate way more than I should have.
Mhm.
But my
Okay.
eyebrows are cute.
But my eyebrows are cute. And you know what? It was just today and I'm tracking it.
Right.
And if you can't say I'm tracking it, then you need to go track it so
Mhm.
that you can say I'm tracking it. Because all you're trying to do is just dismantle the power that you're giving it over to this thing that shouldn't have power anyway.
Because I
Mhm.
think, and the last thing I'll say to that is that because you may say, I don't have a good thing to say. I love what you just said. Create it. Do the next
Mhm.
right thing.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk. And I'm going to, and now I can say, I went on a 10-minute walk.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, visual
test us
change.
on this.
Mhm.
Test us on this. Seriously. Because we would just, try it. See what happens and
Mhm.
see if you don't find incremental changes. You're just trying to do a 1% change. You're not trying to do 100% all at one time. 1%.
Mhm.
1%. Ladies, that's it for all of our questions.
Oh,
Great questions.
I
so
know.
sad. I don't know why I was like, what's the next one?
You're like, what's next? I'm fired up. Okay, I'm gonna do this before we jump off. I'm gonna open floor for us.
Mm.
Do any of us have a question for the group?
I have one.
Ooh.
So this is the question my therapist asked me this week. So I'm trying to think about my answer. But
Oh,
where do
no.
you see?
Gosh.
Now, Candice has been sharing her therapist's wisdom over the years. Now we got two.
Yay.
two
Erin,
I love it. No, I don't have to do it. You guys are paying for it and I
There
get
you
it
go.
for free.
I'm mooching. Yes.
So, Erin, you kind of asked us. I think this was in the last Q&A to one of the participants. I think it was the first question. But where do you guys see yourself in a year? Simple but loaded.
I don't know. I feel like in a year I see myself, or what I hope for myself
Mhm.
is that I'm balanced and that I've
Mm.
found more balance in my life, because I've had really high highs, I've had really low lows,
Mhm.
and the middle has always been uncomfortable for me. Because again, how I used to call it lukewarm, and that's not really, to me, that's really balance. Like it doesn't have to be that all these amazing things are going on or everything's like in the pit. I just want to be even keel. I don't know. And that's with weight, that's with happy, just with life, just in the middle. I want balance for myself. That's what I see, a balanced Candice.
I love that.
Mhm.
I think for me, I'm going to be, for this next year, just the continued focus on health and the exercise component of it, and really dialing in on the good, healthy things without the deprivation. Basically, I'm going to continue to do what I've done in this, especially like hardcore in this last quarter, because I want to be I want to be strong. I don't want to be thinking about food all the time. Right. I've said that. Like, I don't want the least interesting thing about me should be that I do Weight Watchers, that I, I don't always want to be thinking about my weight and always focusing on my weight. And in order to achieve that, I have to start doing more of the things that help me not do that. And that means regular routines and sticking to them, and none of the high-low dips. And so that means steadiness in it and just continuing on that path. So yeah.
What about you, Rikki?
I think I tend to be an avoider when it comes to challenging things, and that can affect my discipline with certain things. And I think in general, I just want to stop avoiding things that may scare me, or just big picture in life. And I want to embrace the hard and embrace the things that might be really challenging for me, put myself out there a little bit more as far as things that might be hard, and really make a difference in the choices that I make, as far as, bigger picture in life, not necessarily just with food. But like you're saying, Erin, it's not, we have our lives that are more than just what we eat and how much we weigh. So I'd like to embrace the things that have been hard for me in the past that I may have avoided.
I love that.
All right. Candice, do you have an open forum question? You don't have to have one.
I do not.
I don't have one either that I can
I thought
think
that was
of.
a good one. That was really good.
I think Rikki,
Rikki, just ask your therapist for more questions. Okay?
Right.
I will.
I love it. Oh. Well, ladies, as always, it's such a great way to close out the year. And I know that we're excited for what this next year is going to hold, and excited to talk about that, talk about the goals. This is kind of like maybe a soft intro into thinking about 2025. It's incredible to say that. Yeah. But I would encourage everyone who's listening right now, and even ourselves, to reflect back on 2024 and to not reflect back negatively. I didn't achieve my goal. I didn't get this or that, but literally just think back on the year and all that it entailed. Think about the good things that happened. Right.
I was going to say, can we embrace the positive?
Yes.
I don't want to think about the negative. What are the good things that happened?
Right. I would look back and go, hey, I had surgery this year. My gosh, which feels like it was so far ago, but I had surgery, and that has given me a whole new life, but it's also created some pretty significant changes in my body and hormones and stuff. So I'm still adapting to that, but it's good.
Yeah.
Right. It's good. And I'm here, and that's great.
I wrote a book and did a TED Talk. I feel like that's pretty great.
I think that's pretty sticking great.
So
that's incredible.
But that's my thing. It's a choice.
Right. Rikki made some amazing choices this year that led her to losing 10 pounds this year.
Yeah.
And she focused on her mental health. I'm all like, she got a therapist. Not because I think you're crazy, but because that's the thing. That's so, I love it so much.
And I have 2 therapists now.
Yeah. And that's why we come in. This is the only reason we record. Erin's like, what did we learn again?
It was like, what are you talking about?
What was it? What was the question? Hold on.
I love it. Well, gosh, what an amazing year. Congratulations. You're still here. Every day that you thought you wouldn't make it, you did. So kudos for that. And kudos for every day that you celebrated it too. We will see you in 2025. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye.